And Kirk, Jeff Sanders caught up with a really, really unique guy.
Yeah, a guy that has a very unique and special and appropriately perfect first name, ESPN analyst Kirk Herbstreit.
Kirk, you're going to be doing the color for the game coming up on Monday. You've done these for a number of years now. What do you expect as far as the matchup this year between Auburn and Florida State?
Well, there's a couple things I'm interested in watching. Number one, Florida State's defense, the month that they've had to try to get ready to slow down this Auburn attack that Alabama couldn't slow down, Missouri couldn't slow down. Most people have not been able to slow down. And I think the X factor is the tempo. We've seen this for years in college football, how it affects defenses, how the defense gets on its heels, how the defense is kind of panning, gasping for air. Can Florida State avoid that? Because if they can't, then Nick Marshall is going to make a lot of plays along with Trey Mason. And on the other side, I just want to see how Auburn's able to pressure Jameis Winston. Can they pressure him? Auburn is they got defensive ends that are as good as anybody Florida State has seen all year. Florida State, if they want to run the football first to set up the passing game. So I really think it's going to be a competitive game and a shootout.
But you say a shootout there. You talk about Auburn's defense. They really gave up a lot of points to Missouri in the SEC championship game. Can they even slow down Jameis Winston and that high-powered offense?
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, this is still an SEC defense. I know within conference play they've struggled and they've given up some numbers, but this is an SEC defense with SEC defensive linemen. That's the thing that I really want to see is Florida State's got veteran offensive line. 4 of their starters on the offensive line were starters last year. These guys have played a lot of football. They do a good job of protecting Jameis, but at times they've given up some sacks. So can they take care of him? And again, for Florida State, everybody thinks Jameis Winston, but if you really watch Florida State, it's really about their running game. When they run the football, that's when you're in trouble. So it's not just about pressuring Jameis Winston to me. And I've called Florida State 3 or 4 times this year. If they start to pound you with the running game, I'm telling you, and that's when you're going to start to say, okay, get ready, because now Jameis, if you stop their running game and you get Jameis into some 3rd and 7s and 3rd and 8s, it's a whole different game.
Let's talk about this big BCS mess in a way. We've said over the last years, a lot of people call it a mess. A lot of people love the system. We're going to a 14 playoff this year. Talk about the media extravaganza that we see here. It wasn't like this, I know, when you played.
No, and it's been great. I think people look at the BCS and it's easy to kind of jump on it and say, boy, it's terrible. And if you're an Auburn fan, you go back to 2004, it was frustrating. But I'll tell you what it's done is it's made every game matter. To me, it gets a bad rap because, yeah, it hasn't always gotten it right, but I think it's brought the entire college football community together, whether you're in the Pac-12 or the SEC or the Big Ten. Everybody is together now because everybody knows what's at stake. So I'll have great memories personally of the BCS, and I think I'm looking forward to the playoff, but I think the BCS has been great for the sport.
Last question, fitting that it's here in the Rose Bowl, kind of the way we're ending it here, the BCS is to go to a new formula, but we've had the bowl tradition for years, and to really kind of see the BCS and the bowl tradition, even though it's changing next year, to end here in the Rose Bowl.
Well, to me, it's the greatest setting for a college football game in the country. So it is fitting to have it here. For the Auburn fans and Florida State fans that have never been here, when they get inside that stadium and they see the San Gabriel Mountains and the palm trees coming out over top of the stadium, there's nothing like it in the sport. So I'm looking forward to seeing the reaction of the players and the fans when they get a chance to be in here.
Of course, always great to hear from him. We'll hear more from him tomorrow night calling the football game.
Yes, sir, we will. We're continuing on with the quest for the BCS, everyone. Stay right there. We'll be right back.